Do you want to discover more joy, peace, and freedom with food exercising your body? Here we bring a compassionate, holistic, and sustainable approach to fitness so you can fully enjoy the life you want and express your unique self with the world. I'm Michelle Roscoe, and I want to help you find fitness freedom. I'm so glad you're here. Hello, welcome to the Fitness Freedom Podcast. Today I'm talking about Comphet and fitness and how it relates and how you can truly find your deepest desires and truths for your own life, for your own journey. So what does Comphet mean? It stands for compulsive heterosexuality, and it refers to how heterosexuality is in society the default, and more than that, how this compulsive heterosexuality hides people's queerness or blocks people from being their true selves, their true queer selves. This whole episode actually was inspired by this story I saw on Facebook, and of course hundreds of stories in my own experiences in my own life, and people I know and people I love, their own lives, but this kind of triggered it on Facebook. I saw this story in a group. It was an anonymous post, and I won't go into all the details, of course, but basically this woman who has a husband and 2 children found out that her husband was cheating on her with other men, and he finally broke down and said, yes, this is true. I thought I could change, or I thought you would be a good pick and all the things would align. I was hoping that I could change, and I wanted to be a dad, but I couldn't control myself, is what he said, and I had to scratch this itch and be with other men. Of course, that's not a healthy way to go about it at all. But the pain that she is experiencing, the betrayal, the breakdown of her life, the pain and the shame that he has around being gay, all of this stuff is the result of Comphet. And if you listen to this podcast, if you know me, you know I'm queer. So I can relate to this on a personal level, not just for myself, but with the people that I love and have loved in my life, friends and partners. In my world, I grew up in a religious, Bible-focused world, very traditional and conservative, and it was not even an option to consider being gay. If it came up, it was something that was scary and shamed and wrong, and God forbid you would even consider it. Maybe there were some whispers around, oh, I think this person is gay. It was just a bad thing. It was nothing positive was associated with being gay. It was a sinful, quote unquote, sinful lifestyle. And in my world, it was not an option. I mean, if I even entertained it, it would be for a brief second and then it would go away. And of course, I didn't even know that I was queer until my mid-20s. So that's how long it took me to figure out that I was into women and non-binary trans people, not just straight cis men. So it was my own journey. I've had a lot of pain around it, so I know personally the fear of realizing it, like, oh shit, my whole world has turned upside down. Everything that I thought was solid has crumbled. And as scary as that can be, I find that those moments in life are the best gifts that we can be given, because we get so stuck in our own constructs and our own ideas. But that's another story. I feel like I'm in one of those stages in my life right now, and I'm seeing it as a gift. The unknown can be such a beautiful gift. But there's this fear of, oh shit, this is really me. What does this entail? What does this imply? Then you think about, oh no, I have to come out, and how are people going to accept this? And in my world, It was not accepted. It was a really brave, scary, risky thing to come out. And thank goodness I realized it later on in life. I don't think I would have been safe if I had come out earlier. There's the fear of being accepted, of how your life is going to change. I know, it is so scary. It is so scary, especially even if you come from an accepting home and your parents and your family are pretty, and your friends are pretty cool about it. It's still scary, and even more so if you know their opinions on it are negative. And there's been so much pain from Comphet. There's been so much pain from Comphet. Another thing is, it hinders people from exploring. Like, if there's this idea that I can only be straight or I can only be gay. Like, we could be bi, you could be pan, you could be demi, you could be ace. There's all these. It's a spectrum, right? That's why we have all those letters, which is a beautiful thing. We humans are not binary in these boxes, black and white, and that's a beautiful thing. But it is scary because it goes against the mainstream. And it's not just the current culture. This is generations, hundreds and hundreds of years, especially in Western culture, of traditional marriage from the Bible. It's, Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, ha ha ha. And of course, indigenous cultures and other cultures around the world have honored people who are non-binary and honored people who are queer, but those get disregarded often. So it is super scary. And I want to relate this to the fitness world and what I will call Comphet, compulsive fitness, or as it is termed, normative discontent. So up to 91% of women report being dissatisfied with their bodies, and at least at some point in their life, and want to be in a smaller body than the one they are in now. And I work in the fitness world, so I often hear, I want to lose weight. My goal is to get smaller. I want to lose weight. And there are lots of misconceptions around weight loss to begin with. And I can go into that another time. There's a lot of misconceptions about weight loss to begin with. So even if that is your goal, you got to get the information correct if that's something that is important to you. But that's not the goal of this podcast, so I won't go down that tangent. So many people, especially women, are looking to lose weight. And I'm not saying just women. Of course, men want to lose weight too, but it's a lot more, the standards are a lot higher for women and what they look like and what their bodies look like. And like I've said before, even if you are not losing weight, so to speak, you want to be seen as trying to lose weight. And it's all over social media. I really am surprised and shocked sometimes when I look at my Instagram, like For You or the search page. TikTok is pretty cool. I feel like they get me a little more. But Instagram, I am interested in what's going on in the fitness world. But it surprises me how unhealthy so many ideas and pages are. And it goes so much under the radar. Like, how are people not, like, it has thousands of likes and so many comments, and people are just obsessed with losing weight. And if losing weight were actually through dieting and exercise, not that it's impossible, but by the standards that we have and for lots of body types and the environment that we are in and genetics and all that, if it were possible, there wouldn't be such a market for it. Why is there such a big market for it? It's because statistics show that as much as 95% of diets fail within 5 years. So yes, you might be able to lose weight, keep it off, but what happens is after a few years, it comes back. And the people who are successful will be generous and say that there was one study that showed up to 20% of people successful after 5 years. I don't remember the exact numbers, but they were extremely restrictive. They had to count everything. They were obsessive about their exercise, not really in a healthy mindset in order to maintain that weight loss. So it's kind of a losing battle for weight loss. And because of that, there's constantly new things coming out around try this diet, try this pill, try this exercise workout regimen, and this will finally help you lose weight. So we're constantly looking for the next best thing. And what does that do? It puts a lot of money in certain people's pockets. The fitness industry is a huge multi-billion-dollar globally. The wellness industry is multi-trillion-dollar. So people are getting rich off of this. And if I wanted to make money quick, I could also sell weight loss. And I'm sure it would, but it goes against my values because I know the facts around it. And also I'm not interested in helping. That's not my main goal for helping people just to lose weight. The other thing is that statistics show that about 1 in 4 dieters, people who start diets, end up developing disordered eating disorders. And this is a severe, serious mental health illness. It is one of the most deadly mental health illnesses in the world after opioid addiction. And people die from eating disorders. And if they don't die, their lives are severely I'll just speak from my own experience. My life was not my life. I wasn't myself. I was in a world of numbers and controlled. I wasn't living. I was constantly hungry. And I know that there are different kinds of eating disorders, and everyone deals with it in different ways. Everyone's story is unique in some ways, but it's not fun, and it takes over your life. And it's all you think about, all you can think about. So it's not just a harmless, oh, but I just want to lose some weight. There are serious implications and damaging implications for around weight loss and body dissatisfaction. And it's gotten worse if you go through the history of dieting and weight loss as a thing. It started largely in the 1900s, at least modern history, around calorie counting, around corsets, around even taking worms to empty your, like literally taking worms, like tapeworms, so you would lose weight. Then it was coffee and cigarettes, and then it was Slim Fast, and then now it's about, now GLP-1s are huge, as Ozempic for pills, weight loss. There's always something. And I want you, if you're listening to this, you might have already done this, but I want you to see, like, kind of like the Wizard of Oz taking the curtain back and seeing this huge shadow, and you come all this way to find this weight loss and to find this happiness, and you open the curtain and you realize it's just this little, we'll say, pathetic man with smoke and mirrors, and there's no substance behind it. And because when you are in that place of weight loss, either it's never good enough, there's always more to lose, or there's always more to achieve. There's always something wrong with your body to change. Or once you do get to where you would like to be, oh shit, I have to keep this up. And what does that require? That requires a lot of work. That requires a lot of focus. And it takes over your life. It takes over your life. Even if you're more casual and you wouldn't be diagnosed with an eating disorder, which, by the way, most people who do have eating disorders are not diagnosed, and only 10% of people with eating disorders will seek support. So don't think that it's limited to a certain look or a certain type. It affects everyone, and even it affects people of color and minorities, like people in the queer community. Speaking of Comphet, there is this in society, we're told, and this is something I go over in my masterclass, what you really need to enjoy fitness for life, and I give you more tools. So if you haven't watched that, please go to the show notes. It's in there. You can watch it within minutes of registering. It'll be in your inbox. You also get to see me talk and get to see some slides, so it's a little bit more, it engages more of your senses. But so many of us are told there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with your body, whether that's being queer or whether that's our body shape is wrong. And true, You can change your body to a certain extent with dieting, with exercise. You can also pretend that you're straight and live the Comphet life. But that doesn't mean that you're healthy or happy. We need to separate health and appearance and genuine attraction and love and external markers of what a relationship is. And it is so sad that we live in a world where people do not feel safe or free to be who they are. And in some places in the world, it's actually unsafe. It's life-threatening to come out as queer. Like you would die if you were caught in like a same-sex relationship. That is so extremely sad. And thankfully, it is becoming more open, and queer people are becoming more accepted. In fact, in some worlds, it's cool to be queer, but it's still far from that place of being completely free. And if you do have a home where you were accepted, that's great. That's wonderful. I'm so glad that you had that. And if you didn't, my heart goes out to you. My compassion goes out to you. And if you do want to talk, I'm always happy to connect with you if you just want to talk. And it's so sad to live in a world, not just with Comphet, but it's so sad to live in a world where people do not feel safe or free in their own bodies as they are, where they constantly feel that they need to change. And again, you can pretend, you can play a role, just like that guy on that Facebook post. The husband was playing a role as a straight man with a family and probably, a house, a job, the whole shebang. You can pretend, but it only lasts for so long. Either you're going to just be miserable and be completely disconnected with yourself, or something will break, something will crack. You can do the same thing with your diet. You can starve yourself. You can work really hard diet. You can exercise like crazy. You can control so many factors. And you might even lose some weight, and you might find some temporary satisfaction in that. But I will tell you, it's never enough. Because if you want true love and freedom, if you want peace and happiness, you have to accept yourself as you are right now. Not when or if, but right now. And these changes, both in the Comphet world and in this Comphet world that I'm made up, it starts with one person and changes one person at a time. And I am so grateful to the people generations prior who stood up for their queerness, who were not afraid to be out, who even sacrificed their lives for being who they are. And change happens one person at a time, one act at a time, one practice of acceptance at a time. And I want to give you, from my own experience in the Comphet world, and believe me, it's not just me. I've done a lot of work and I'm still processing so much. Like, I have internalized homophobia from how I grew up. I still have it. I can see it. I can recognize it. And it fucking sucks. I wish I didn't. I wish I felt like I completely, without a doubt, ever, without any hesitation, that I'm just as valid as any heterosexual couple. But the world I grew up in has not always said that, and it's hard to undo a lot of those messages. So I know how difficult it is. I also, in the Comphet world, I fucking had an eating disorder for years, where I measured everything, and I thought that if I could just be skinnier, if I could just bring the weight on the scale down, then I could be happy, that I would be enough. And it never ends. It never ends. Even if you're not as extreme as having an eating disorder, diagnosable, like it never ends. It's a losing battle against this world, this world that thrives on you not knowing your own power. So here are 3 difficult things, and I will say difficult. There is joy on the other side, and there's always, always hope. I believe that. There's always hope, but it's not always easy, and there are some difficult things that you might have to do to break free from this. And they're difficult in different ways from, there's hard, which is like pretending like you're straight and checking all the boxes and being miserable and lonely inside, uh, or starving constantly, obsessing about food because you're always hungry, always feeling like you're one step away or a few steps away from the body that you want, and it's never enough. That's hard. And then there's good hard. And I want to give you the good hard that can actually take you closer to where you would like to be and living your full life. And I'm getting a little emotional here because I'm at this place in my life where I'm realizing more and more that the things that I've leaned on to mark me as successful, or the things that I've been chasing to make me feel enough, are not what I need. What I need is more connection with myself. And I'm at a place where I'm asking what I really, really want, not the things that I've repeated to myself over and over again with my goals and my dreams and desires that I want. And it's scary. So I'm here with you, and this is close to my heart. And I hope, one hope out of this podcast episode, if you're still listening, is if you are in that comphet world where you know or you suspect that you're not completely straight, I hope that you have the courage and the safety and the support to be your full self, at least to acknowledge it. And I'm going to go over some things that you can do both that in that world. And if you're listening to this and you're hearing the facts and you're thinking, wow, I've been living in this, swimming in this fishbowl, not even knowing that I'm in a fishbowl, because the deeper question is why do I feel the need to be in a straight relationship? Why do I feel the need to lose weight? What is the environment that makes me want this? Babies don't want to lose weight. They're not obsessed with it from when they're born. Little children aren't until they hear messages that it's good for them. We've been swimming in this fishbowl for our whole lives. And I think so many of us don't even realize that these desires aren't necessarily coming from us. They're coming from Comphet and Comphet. So these are some difficult things that you will have to do if you want to truly live a life of freedom and peace and joy, even if it's good hard. So number one, choose yourself above others' opinions. Choose yourself over others' opinions. When you choose yourself, not everyone's going to understand your choice. Not everyone's going to understand you, and they might be confused. Some people might be able to make some clarity of what you're doing, and some people might choose not to understand. But you have to recognize that if others aren't standing up to the standards of the love that you have for yourself, they don't need to be in your life. And it doesn't mean that you have to be mean to them or cut them out or be harsh with them. You just naturally let them go and not try to hold on to them. When I came out, I lost and still have lost connection with my family and even quote unquote friends that I had from my past, especially since I lived in such a Christian bubble. I had lots of actually really hurtful comments that I received from people, and I don't need to repeat them, and I don't need to go into those details, but lots of condescension, self-righteousness, and straight up harshness and cruelty from people that were supposed to be, loving. And you know what? Actually, I'd rather have that than the fake, oh, I love you, but I'm praying for your soul. Like, please, no, thank you. That's self-righteous and bleh, bleh. Okay, that's my barf. That's me barfing. So you have to choose yourself above others' opinions, and be able to stand up against these ideas. Like, it's not mainstream to say, hey, I really like my body, even though it's bigger, or hey, I really like my body, even though I don't have, 12% body fat. I really like my body just the way it is. You're really going against the grain. Or when you say, nope, I'm not going to diet, or nope, all foods fit, or even in my own work, even though I do this, like I say some things and I feel like I'm going against the grain, and I'm happy to share the message, but like things around food and diet culture and exercise and misunderstandings, it's not mainstream, and you have to choose yourself above what other people might think of you, and have that high standard for yourself. Love yourself so much that when others don't love you to the degree that you know you are worthy of, they just fall away. And that's something that I'm continually learning too. The second thing that's a little bit more fun, it's still difficult though, especially when you're used to just following the rules, is spend time exploring who you are and what you like for fun. And I remember when I came out, I have a dear friend. She's so wonderful. I had come out, and she kind of followed my journey and saw me through that process. And she really encouraged me to like, hey, go out. I hope you get to kiss some girls, or I hope you get to have some fun. Maybe you get to meet a cute girl. Like, just really supportive, really kind. And I'm so grateful that I had her. But I had that period of like, what? Girls became an option in my dating world. And then even with food, and I know this is even scarier. I think this is a lot, and it's a different mode, but like even after I stopped restricting myself, I had to be like, oh, I haven't had this food in so long. Oh, I wonder if I actually like Reese's. I've never had one because I've been restricting for so long, or foods that like I had always said no to, and then I got to like try for the first time. It was really exciting. And so spend time exploring who you are and what you like, because we've been told so many rules, so many things about who we should be and how we should act and how we should look, that it's fun to rediscover who you are and have fun. Do I like this? Do I like that? And it will change. It will likely change. A lot of things will change for you. But even with exercise, like, do I actually like this exercise, or am I doing it because I'm trying to punish myself? Do I really like running, or do I just feel like I have to do it? So exploring what you like and having that period of kind of like exploration. And that's something that I give in the 4-H method with both exercise, with movement, and with food. And we don't start there. We start with connecting with yourself. But there is a period of exploration, and that before we even learn about like the facts around it, there's this reconnecting with yourself in enjoyment and pleasure with movement and with food, which is cool. Oh, and then the last one, be willing to be different for the sake of being you. Be willing to be different for the sake of being you. And realize that everything in this world is made up. The work week is made up. The buying a house is made up. The marriage is made up. Kids are not made up. But diets are made up. Workouts are made up. These standards are all made up. Who made them up? And why are you following them? Do you really need to? And if it is you, like if something is you and it resonates, yeah, do it. But don't do it for the sake of following the standards. Do it for the sake of being you. And that's why, please go watch the What You Really Need to Know to Enjoy Fitness for Life, because I talk a little bit more about this and some practical steps. And I also have an offering afterwards, a couple offerings actually, that can help you implement this. So please go check it out. It just takes like 1 minute, less than a minute. Being willing to be different for the sake of being you. And in order to know who you are, you have to listen, you have to be still, you have to rest. And that's why in the 4-H method, we start with rest. We don't start with movement or with food. We start with rest. Who are you? Because who you are, my friend, my love, my darling listener, I'm saying this to me as much as I am to you, who you are, just being is enough. Who you are, simply existing, matters. You don't have to be anything or do anything. You don't have to be anyone. Who you are, just most you, your essence, you, your you-ness is enough. And that's what the world needs, is you being you. So I'm going to finish with a quote from Rumi. I love Rumi. He said, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come?" And from my experience, both in my queerness and in my health and fitness, the other side is exponentially, infinitely better. And I can't wait to see the next side of my life. Hey, you reached the end of this episode. Thank you so much for your time and energy listening to this. I appreciate it so much. If you would be so kind and generous as to leave a positive review for this podcast, it would mean so much to the growth of this so that more people can benefit from it. And even more, it would mean even more if you shared this personally with someone who you think would be able to benefit from this, who would appreciate and enjoy it. Please do that. Always feel free to reach out to me with questions or comments, michelle@mlroscoe.com, or you can find me on Instagram @MichelleLynnRoscoe. Always happy to hear from you. And if you're ready to commit, to take action to making your healthiest life from a place of already enough, join the 4-H method. Make your body your home, your health, your hero journey. The link is in the show notes. Like you, love you, Coach Michelle.